Hey everyone, this is Thyworm and today I'm doing a follow-up on the streams I did recently where we started the Paladin from scratch. I'll show you footage of that stream and the purpose of this video is just to take you through the thought process and tell you what the current state is of this Paladin. This isn't really a build guide just yet, especially because this Holy Fire Paladin simply falls off at endgame. At level 70 I found the scaling to be not sufficient unless you really sacrifice a lot of survivability. This video is a log to give you a summary of the character, what happened and where it ended up. If you have a suggestion to save this build, feel free to put them in the comments down below. The stream idea was to start a Paladin, make it use fire, see where we would end up. It was solo self-found as well, using only items we got from the campaign. We started off with some vengeance, throwing a few hammers, but soon figured out we kind of liked these movement abilities. Lunge and shield rush particularly are quite fun to use. Our main damage skill was Arrive. Around the last refuge, that level 16 side quest area, we were struggling a bit. We didn't have many resistances and we got killed an awful lot. The build was still mostly the same with Arrive and shield rush. It's fair to say that the first 15 levels were a bit of a struggle. We're at level 23 here, doing pretty well. Damage has ramped up a bit, which is good. Divine Bolt is a super fun skill to take when leveling a Paladin, especially later on where you can summon more bolts. It looks cool and helps out quite a bit. We took Vengeance as a third skill by now. Rive is being specced into a crit skill. A little further down the line and we specced into the Paladin Mastery. That means we get Holy Aura, access to Smite, and we stuck with Rive for melee damage. I found the Beast King and had the idea to have Rive summon a bunch of forged weapons to make that in the end synergize with the new Paladin set, the Sunforged Armor, which then increases fire damage by 125%. That was the plan up until this time. While that plan didn't work out in the end, leveling with the Beast King and summoning some forged weapons along the way works really well, even without any minion stats. At the end of the first stream we had a bunch of Divine Bolts starting fires all over the place and the build was really shaping up quite nicely. Start of stream 2, same day. Build works really well at this point. We have 50% resistances across the board, we're pretty much cutting through enemies, flames are across the entire screen, we're getting the Holy Sigils as well as an additional skill, giving us quite a few extra buffs. Global melee damage, fire damage, ignite chance, we're super hybrid at this point. We have forged weapons, we ignite, we do fire damage, we do melee damage, we have the aura. Our build is really all over the place, but it works. Reason these builds work, by the way, at this level is because the enemies don't really have many resistances. Almost any build that has a few synergies will work around level 40. It's much later, around level 70, that builds are truly tested. All the way until the final stages of the campaign we're pretty much staying with the same build, only adding Judgment to the mix. Holy Aura, which gives us Ignite chance, Smite teleporting us to enemies, Sigils providing global buffs, Judgment for more fire damage and some healing, and Arrive, our main damage skill. I'm still trying to make a fire-based Paladin work, and it does so far. Also remember that we're solo self-found, meaning that we didn't craft much and only used gear we found along the way. End of the stream, everything seems fine. I'm just farming the monolith, resistances are on par, all is good. However, I kept playing this build. Around the end of the stream I'm probably level 50 or so. Currently I'm level 73 and unfortunately Holy Fire Paladin falls off pretty hard. The scaling of Judgment and healing effectiveness doesn't work. Even at 500% healing effectiveness, that skill hardly does any damage. Stack fire or spell damage, same issue. The fire just doesn't really work for me. And what I mean is, with regular skill and solid passive point investment, you either lack defenses or you lack damage. It's very hard to pull this build off, I found. And single target damage is absolutely abysmal. You have basically no skills that you can use on a single target, so taking down an extra health monster takes a while. The reason why builds tend to fall off, in my experience at least around level 75, is the scaling of monsters. They have 15% more effective health and damage compared to level 50. That's very significant. It means you need a lot more protections and you need a lot more damage to keep up with that scaling. And for some builds like this one, those stats aren't readily available. I'm sure you can make it work, but it would require a lot of additional really well crafted gear. And if that is the case, it's still an option, but it should be clearly mentioned that this isn't an endgame build without significant investment of time. Holy Fire Paladin in my opinion doesn't work in endgame. Instead I went full tank mode on this guy, investing everything in defensive stats, and I'm now practically unkillable. Damage is severely lacking, as you can see. Nonetheless, it's sort of a base build which I will improve on over time. I'm aiming to get some extra damage on this guy, and then he might just go for a decent-ish run in the arena without taking 2 hours. And that's it, our first little sort of build diary. I'm really curious to see if you like this video, let me know. Thanks so much for watching and making it to the end. I'll see you soon, love you all, bye bye.